I'm kind of laughing because, oh, by the way, my name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto, under 20. I'm in. Are you in? Anyway, I'm kind of laughing at the blur to 2014 from being 35 years old, because apparently what I did was made two videos with two different names, and I don't know what happened to the blur part of my life. I guess it was a blur. So I will now do a little filling in of the blanks. So there I was at 36, and I had just gotten sober in AA, and I was on the divorce diet. And if some of you aren't familiar with the divorce diet, through the stress and hatred of it, oh God, you're guaranteed a 30 to 40. And then there's the revenge aspect, I'm going to look better than I ever looked with him, except that my face was all drawn from all of it. It was a nightmare time of my life. I wouldn't suggest marrying in haste. Anyway, so got out of that with the divorce diet, and kind of kept that weight off for a while, and proceeded from 1987 to 2014, and it was a blur. Lots of jobs, going back to school for a couple of degrees, working full-time, delivering newspapers in the middle of the night, cleaning houses, working for H&R Block. Anyway, a very, very busy, frantic, chaotic time raising two sons. And so somehow I came out of it alive, still sober, and with a couple of degrees that really don't make a difference on Cape Cod anyway, even though they were focused on what would work down here, which would be, I was a paralegal for real estate attorneys doing closings. I got my realtor's license, my broker's license, and did some of that, and then kept going back into the social services, low-paying jobs. Crazy, crazy time. So in 2000, so I was probably, 150-ish through most of that time. Still solid like I kind of am today with the built-up muscle mass, but now I have the saggy skin as a result of the weight loss, even though underneath I'm solid. But it's the skin. You can't escape it, even though I've heard some people say on keto you don't need to have surgical work done. I probably did so much damage for so long that, yeah, it would be necessary. I want to be Amber. I want to be Amber on Teen Mom and have my arms done and a mommy makeover. Can I have all those things? Anyway, so in 2014, in June, I knew something had to happen. And I was sitting in an AA meeting, which I have said many times here. There was a very wealthy woman who spends winters in her place in Naples, Back Bay in Boston, which is a very shishi area of Boston, and has a place on the Cape. And she has two vehicles, but, being one person, she can only drive one at a time, but it's either a Bentley or a, I think it's a BMW, but anyway, very wealthy. And over the years, I've seen her, Liz Taylor looks, honest to God, her eyes, it's like that permanent eyeliner is already there without even putting it, with those beautiful green or lavender eyes, depending on what you're wearing. It's gorgeous. But each season that she would return to the Cape, she had a little bit more of the menopause, and it was expanding. And, it was June, so it was like time to wear belts with starchy white shirts, which is like one of my little trademark summer things, with khakis and stuff, the uniform. And so she would rest her hands on her menopause, and as I looked down, I realized that, well, with my menopause, number one, I shouldn't be wearing a belt because belts don't fit over menopause, and that indeed it was happening to me too. So she was kind of like my mirror. not with her Elizabeth Taylor eyes or her ride, but so I just was not appalled. I wasn't appalled at her, but I was disgusted with myself. You know, some people might call that the moment of truth. So you do the preliminaries. I looked up Weight Watchers, where the meetings were, and kind of was preparing myself for that. Because I was to me, Weight Watchers was the last door on the left, not knowing about keto, of course. And so the divorce diet, yeah, I knew about that. And so I looked it up, and it was a Saturday, June 21st, I think, or something, 2014. And there was an 8 a.m. Weight Watchers, and there was a 10 a.m. Weight Watchers. So my 12-step meeting goes 7:30 to 8:30. So I figured, well, I'll go to the 10. And I planned it out. And I'm sitting there so fidgety at my 7:30 meeting, I left at 7:45, and I went to Weight Watchers. And I went in, and I signed up, and I said, yeah, give me some of that. And I did the online, and I did the meetings, and it was like $42, $43 a month. And immediately went to Shaw's and bought about $50 worth of low carb, low fat, no sugar, all the crap that you buy, and settled into my new way of eating, my new woe is me. So that was in June, and by October I had taken off 17-ish pounds, and nothing else was happening. But that afternoon, that Saturday afternoon, I called Weight Watchers, and I got out of the going to meetings. I said, this is ridiculous. I'm not spending $500 a year to go to Weight Watchers, right? I can figure out the app thing and the tracker and the phone and everything else. So I canceled that and just did the online tracker thing for $20 a month. And I loved it. And I love scanning. And, one time I was in a market basket in New Bedford, Marie, and there was this woman, and she was doing her camera scan on Thomas's English muffins. And I said, oh, are you Weight Watchers? And she said, yes, are you? And it's like, yes, I just started. You know how that goes. Weight Watchers people are probably more obvious in stores than we keto people would be, unless you're really paying attention and you're looking down and you're going, grass-fed meat, uncured bacon and pepperoni, almond meal, raw cheese, heavy whipping cream, grass-fed burger, free-range pasture-raised eggs. No fruit, no middle-of-the-aisle stuff except some good organic coffee. Could this person be on the same food plan as me? Well, so I still did the Weight Watchers thing, and I've probably got 50 to 100 podcasts of my early journey on YouTube. I've got about 800 now, and so that I began about 2.5 years ago. And so I would do the same thing, a video, Weight Watchers, what I'm bringing to lunch. And I got all these tiny, cute little baby food glass containers from Amazon for 1 ounce of that and 3 ounces of that. And I would pound down 6 to 7 fruits a day with, nuts or peanut butter or yogurt to go with it, or some carby thing that we're not talking Fai full-fat plain yogurt. We're talking, Carbogy yogurts, fat-free, Chobani. And so then I bought all the Weight Watcher novelties, and I was doing all of that. And I don't know how it came to me, but in August of 2015, somehow something came into my feed that piqued my curiosity, and it was the Wheat Belly doctor, Dr. William Davis. And so I started to listen to his podcasts. I bought his book, Wheat Belly, and I went, you know what? It was August. I'm going to give up wheat and sugar. I'm going to. Now, once I entered Weight Watchers, if I couldn't have my entire salted caramel cake or my red velvet cake, which I would eat in its entirety, then artificial sugars never did it for me. So I guess whatever sugars I had was in such minute amounts that maybe I was weaning myself without knowing. I don't know. But the sugar part was easy. The wheat part was like, thank God for Fathead Pizza is all I can say today in 2017. But then in 2015, it was wheat. It was August. It was wheat, and it was sugar, and it was Dr. Davis Wheat Belly. And I could just immerse myself in his podcasts and the comments that people wrote and his website and his book. And I was so happy. It was August. But I was going to have gluten-free. So I must have spent $200 on gluten-free cereals, gluten-free pasta, gluten-free this, gluten-free that, la 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 la. How much money can I waste on gluten-free? Quite a bit. And did I ever eat any of it? No. Ugh. Yet I bought it. Well, in September, I moved on to Dr. William Davis's Total Health. And although it seems like the books were back to back because of my finding them, I think Total Health had just come out at that point. And so then it was like in September of 2015, it was like, okay, all grains, that's it. All grains, all sugars, boy. And so that entered me into the low carb, high fat, because as Dr. Davis would, tell us how to eat in his podcasts and in his book, it was like, oh, okay, I can do all of this. Fathead hadn't come over my bow yet, but I was so excited. And so I was having probably 50 to 70 grams of carbs each day, and they all came in the form of vegetables. I have the Fiesta Ware, it's called the Pasta Bowl, kind of funny, it probably is 24 ounces, and I would just load that up with Brussels sprouts and green beans and broccoli and cauliflower crumbles. I mean, it was just, it looked like it was a buffet style for a family of 8 to take their veggies from, but it was just mine. So I was, I traded grains for veggies and thinking, I'm healthy. And I probably was, but nothing was really changing too much with the scale because I was balancing, the grains with the carbs, and a carb is a carb because even veggies have carbs. And I guess I can now say you can do too many carbs. So I was doing that, low carb, high fat, and I did that for about 15 months. And so December of 2016, I said, I had seen enough videos with Keto Under 20. It's that light bulb moment, just like me going to Weight Watchers. It's like, well, how many of these keto podcasts am I going to watch that are under 20 before doing it myself? And so I did it. And so I cut down my veggies drastically, but I still have them, and it is ample now. My body says, oh, these are ample. And coconut oil, pasture-raised butter, macadamia oil, flaxseed oil, extra virgin olive oil. Did I say coconut oil? All of those things became my family friends. And so then I was holding on to my baked potato as if it was my given birthright and counting it in. It was kind of like, okay, I'm just going to have the veggies I want on Saturday night with the steak, and was able to release that. And then gum, I was chewing like 10 to 15 pieces of gum a day. And the types of gum I was chewing had 2 carbs per stick or chiclet. And it's like, well, wow, you're way over 20 just with your gum intake, girly. I gave up my coffee mate. I never thought, I thought you'd be taking that from my dead bony hands. And so there were a few okay, now that you're giving up, well, I gave up the coffee mate back with the grains and sugar. But, so those were the coffee mate, the baked potato, the gum, were the difficulties. And it was easy to go to heavy whipping cream and butter and, having the bulletproof coffee. I began having bulletproof coffee every morning. And I might have still been having 3 meals, I'm not sure. But now I'm at bulletproof coffee in the morning and then 2 substantial meals with enough fat in each meal, one to carry me from meal 1 to meal 2, and the other meal 2 to carry me to bulletproof coffee time the next day. Do I love it? You bet I do. I'm feeling the best I've ever felt, and it's so funny because, of course, there's age discrimination everywhere. At 66, even though I could do a wonderful job at something, they're going to, hire a 32-year-old. And it just is the way that it is, unless it's more senior acclimated and senior friendly, like a lot of sometimes jobs that you can find. And like when I worked in the shelter, there were a lot of older women there. And when I worked in the social services of the mentally and physically handicapped young people, same thing, older. I think we get more patients as we go along for social service jobs, human service jobs that will eat you alive at 32. So that was the, this was pretty much the part that got blurred out that I thought I saved and I didn't. So this will be uploaded soon, and you can see what led me to keto. So in August, it will be 2 years for no grains, no wheat, and no sugar. And in September, it'll be a 2-year anniversary for no grains of 2015, 2 years. Yeah. So, and then in December of 2017 will be a year of keto under 20. And I just love it. And I'm willing to be willing. And I don't play with artificial sweeteners ever. I don't play with diet soda ever. And I don't, as some of you know, I've got the 3-second rule for keto porn. Like some men have vowed to their wives or counselors or probation officers. 3 seconds into looking at something they shouldn't, they get out of the sight, get out of their head, stop looking at that walking by them, and that sort of thing. Well, I've got that for keto porn food, all those desserts and keto-fied sort of things. I didn't get into keto under 20 for desserts and artificial sweeteners. I got in to kill my sweet tooth, and it works, and it stays worked, and I get a hankering for fathead pizza, but it's not a craving, if you understand the difference. It's like, I know, once a month I'm supposed to, I have a fathead pizza, and it quells it for another month. And this Friday is one of those days. Oh, I'm so excited. It's tomorrow. Oh, boy. And I bought some more uncured pepperoni, and I've got the cheeses in place, and almond meal, and the eggs, and oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And when I saw Elma, Keto Meets Menopause, make hers in her George Foreman grill, it's like I wanted to submit order for the George Foreman grill. But I've got a fridge fund going right now, so I need to fill that up because I have more of a want/need for a new fridge. So anyway, this has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto Under 20. Always tweaking, enjoying, hoping you're joining in. There is so much help and resources on YouTube and Facebook. It's absolutely amazing. And so, thank you so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button, and I will see you the next time. Bye-bye for now.